Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. Let's take it on down to New Orleans. Sharief Ishaq, WDSU, with us each and every Tuesday. Joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sharief, how we doing?
We are a softball school, baseball school, basketball school, football school. We are unstoppable, Hunt. Unstoppable.
Yeah, things are pretty good in Baton Rouge these days. But I want to talk about New Orleans stuff with you. Is that all right?
If you want, I'm fine with it.
All right. Jameis Winston's time in New Orleans is done. He's going to sign free agent contract with the Cleveland Browns. How would you sum up Jameis's run in New Orleans?
It was, interesting to say the least. They got him in 2020. Didn't really play behind Drew Brees. Got a couple snaps here and there. And then, the start in 2021 was great until he got injured. He won him, led him to the 5-win start, and then that unfortunate knee injury against the Buccaneers, and then comes back the following year, that comeback win in Atlanta to start the season, then hurts his back in that game, and it's just he just was unlucky in his career with the Saints, I would think, and he was a fan favorite. City loves him, did a lot of great stuff in the community. It just didn't pan out. Didn't pan out like he wanted it to.
Why not bring him back?
I just think, like he said, he wanted to go be a starter, which is crazy. He's going to Cleveland to back up the guy the Saints chased whenever they were looking for a quarterback, and I just think that I think they were ready to move on. I think he was ready to move on, and they were ready to move on. Plain and simple. I think whenever that Falcons thing happened, we all knew he wasn't coming back anyway, but that was pretty much the cherry on top. And I just think he wanted to go chase his dream to be a starter somewhere else. And with Deshaun Watson, you never know. He gets hurt a lot, so might have a chance.
Yeah, do you think Jameis will ever be a starter again?
I honestly, I don't, unless he gets the right situation, like he goes into a place that doesn't have a starting quarterback. And it looks like he's going to have to play the backup role and fill in for guys that are hurt. It wasn't. I mean, this year was a chance. A lot of teams who didn't have starting quarterbacks, Patriots, Commanders, Falcons could have probably kicked the tires on them, but they decided Kirk Cousins and other teams are deciding on other quarterbacks. So I don't know, man. I really don't know. Right now, I would say no. I think he's just going to be a backup until players get hurt.
Speaking of backup, the Saints now need one. I'm going to ask you two different questions here. One, does Sharief Ishaq think Jay Kaner is ready to be a backup quarterback in the NFL? And two, do you think the Saints think he is ready to be a backup quarterback in the NFL?
No and no.
Okay.
He hasn't had any, as they would say, the time on task, and he was suspended for those, 6 games. Couldn't be in the building really practicing with the team. I just don't think he's ready. No, they have to go find a veteran quarterback behind Derek Carr. You can't really go in there. And they might go in there and say, all right, we're good with Jay Kaner. I remember during the Senior Bowl, Jeff Howland said he would have liked to see more of Jay Kaner last year. So maybe I'm wrong and they see something in him and they may think he's good enough to be the backup quarterback. But the way Derek Carr was going down last year, I don't know if they're ready for the Jay Kaner train right immediately if he goes down in these first few games of the regular season. So I would say that they can go, sniff the free agent market and see what backup quarterbacks are out there. Some thought it would be Sam Darnold, but that's, that option is off the table. Maybe Joe Flacco, since Jameis went to Cleveland. I still think that they need to find a backup quarterback and still continue to give Jay Kaner some reps and get him ready to be a backup or even a quarterback down the line. So the short answer is yes. No. No is the answer.
So we were talking in the first hour about whether or not the Saints could potentially draft like Jordan Travis in the 5th or 6th round. Do you think that's an avenue the Saints could go, or does this need to be some 34-year-old that can come in and knows how to play the position and has done it for a decade?
Drafting another quarterback? Is that the question you're asking me?
Basically, not in the first round, but like to compete with Haener.
Look. I don't know if this look, they got like 9 picks in this draft, and history tells you, Hunt, that they don't really use all those picks. They usually jumble them up
Correct.
And try to trade up. So I don't think so. I just don't think that's the smart move. This team needs bodies, but they need quality over quantity. So I don't know. I wouldn't bring in another quarterback via the draft. You already tried it twice with Ian Book, and now you have Jay Kaner. This team needs too many other things. So I would not do it that way. In my opinion, I would do it and go find a free agent quarterback, kick the tires on someone to be the backup. I would not do it through the draft and just, try to develop Jake Haener in a way, since you used the pick on him last year.
There have been signings all over the National Football League, high profile, different positions, both sides of the ball. It's been a frenzy over the last 24 hours, and the Saints have not done very much. Does that surprise you?
No.
Yeah.
No, they're second, third tier shopping, man. They're bargain shopping. I mean, that's what they've done for years now. They're on the clearance rack right now, pretty much. So, I mean, they're going to have to adjust a lot of stuff in the draft with the picks they have.
Okay, let me stop you. Why are they clearance shopping?
They don't have – I mean, everyone says they don't have the money, but a lot of the players that people want them to sign are going elsewhere for much bigger salary. They could use defensive line help, but when you look at the prices of some of these defensive ends and defensive tackles and where they're going, it's like Saints aren't going to spend that money. They may do it on a Chase Young that you see he's going to visit the Saints, but you're kicking the tires on someone who's often injured. Yes, he was a high draft pick, but that's the type of guys that they're going to have to go after. They're going to have to bargain shop. I mean, they're not going to be able to go get a Danielle Hunter. He's going to get paid a lot of money, and that's just, plain and simple. And that's the way they've been shopping for years. They don't really necessarily – who was the last big free agent they signed before Derek Carr? It's been a while, right? Demario Davis, probably the first one that comes to mind. Emmanuel Sanders was a one-year signing.
Yeah, who was the safety that didn't work? Jairus Byrd was a pretty big signing, and that was a total bust.
Yeah, that was 14-year. I mean, Demario has been the best one so far.
Yeah.
Outside of Drew Brees and Demario Davis, who have they really signed? I mean, no one. No one that's really been that, mainstay that's been here for a while. So they just continue doing what they do.
Do they need to do something different than what they do? And I use air quotes there?
Yes, absolutely. They need to find a way to, I think, either get away from like what they've drafted, like that type of player they've been drafting in terms of the big guys that not really that athletic. They're just big and they like the way they look the part on paper. They need to find someone, who works in today's game. You've got to find athletic guys, got to find quick guys, got to find guys who are available to play. To me, if you're drafting guys who are healthy scratches, that isn't working. That isn't going to work for this franchise. So they've got to do their due diligence and do better in terms of free agency, whatever they do in the second and third tier, and in their draft process, because it hasn't worked, It hasn't worked for a few years now.
Does Chase Young make sense for the Saints? We understand he's going to get a visit.
Honestly, I think no. I'd like for them to, at least if they're going to kick the tires on someone, kick it on someone who's available, younger. I mean, yeah, whenever he can put the sack numbers up, that's great. But he's going to the Titans and he's going to Carolina. He's probably going to go to where he gets the most money of these visits. I mean, would I be mad? A little bit. I mean, that's not the type of player they need on this team. They need somebody who's available and who can stay on the field and actually get to the quarterback and create some disruption back there, because the team certainly needs help along that defensive line.
How much differently do you feel about the South now that Kirk Cousins is in Atlanta?
Well, I mean, Kirk and Derek Demir are the same quarterbacks. One is coming off a very bad injury, who was having a career year before he blew out his Achilles. The other is just couldn't stay upright. The offense didn't work last year. The offensive line struggled. A lot of struggles until the final 4 or 5 games. So it's 1A, 1B to me. Do they have the better weapons than the Saints? Younger, yeah, but are they going to use it the right way? The defensive-minded head coach? I don't know. But Kirk is a good quarterback. I like Kirk Cousins. I think he's, if he can recover from that Achilles injury, they're going to have a chance to win the NFC South.
Rank the NFC South quarterbacks best to worst.
Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, Bryce Young.
It's a far cry from what we were saying after they signed Derek Carr. Going, all right, well, they got the best quarterback in the division, so all right, this looks good. And now all of a sudden, most people are looking up going, well, I think he's the third best quarterback in the division.
I mean, what do you rank him? Am I right there? Is he third?
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that ranking. I think that's probably right, and I think that's a sobering fact for Saints.
Yeah, and you show me you can do it. Show me that you're better than the other two guys. I mean, it is what it is. The facts are the facts. Those guys have won. Those guys have beaten the Saints. One guy took it on a pretty easy, cheap contract with the Bucs, took them to the playoffs by winning the division. So, I mean, that's what it is right now. I mean, that's the ranking I'll give it until, something gets proved.
I don't disagree at all. Chatting with Sharief Ishaq, WDSU down in New Orleans. We appreciate some time. We'll talk next week. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Hopefully we'll have some signings to talk about.
I would think over the next 7 days we will, but we shall see. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.